guys, it's your girl Nessa. Welcome back to another video. So for today I have this beautiful makeup look that I did, and it was super easy to create. I will have some of the stuff linked below, but I want to show you guys how I did this makeup look, and if you want to see this tutorial, just keep on watching. So I am going in with some primer, and I'm using a brush to blend this out. I keep the primer more in the center of the face just because texture, pores, I just want that area to be more smooth. I do set it with some translucent powder as well because it's going to help the makeup last a little longer throughout the day, and also too it's good for people that has oily skin, so definitely try out that trick. Now I'm going in with some foundation. I do lighter in the center. As you can see, her face is a little darker than her neck area, so I wanted to just brighten up the center of her face, and then I go in with more of a chocolate color for the outer parts of her face. The reason why I do two foundations and don't mix it up is because I feel like when you mix up foundations, it just doesn't make like a perfect color. I prefer to just place the colors where I want them to go and then blend it out, because when the finished look, it just looks like her skin but better. So I am using a foundation brush to blend out her foundation. Personally, I like using brushes because I feel like it doesn't take too much product off, and I do more stippling motions to kind of press the foundation out instead of buffing everything all together. So now I'm going in with some concealer. So this concealer is about 3 shades lighter than her skin tone. I wanted to give her a nice bright under eye just because I feel like it just looks a lot prettier with the look that I was going for, and I wanted to really highlight underneath her eyes. I don't recommend to do anything too much brighter because then sometimes if you use too much of a light concealer, it does tend to turn a little gray underneath. Everyone always asks, do I use my beauty blender wet or dry? I always use it wet. You do want your beauty blender to be clean, because if you use a dirty beauty blender, it's not gonna blend the concealer out as nice and easily as you can see that I'm doing here. And then I do go in with some banana powder. This is from Anastasia Beverly Hills, my favorite. And I'm going to press this into her skin. Since she is a little darker, I don't want to use translucent, and you do not want this to sit on top of the skin just because it does give really bad flashbacks. So you do want to press your translucent powder, banana powder, whatever you're using, you do want to press that into the skin. So now I'm going in with eyebrows. I do use powders because I like how powder has been looking lately. I feel like powders just look a lot more natural, and as you can see from my model, she has very nice full eyebrows already. So all I do is really just fill in the tail part of her brow. And I do kind of lightly do the front part, but not too much. I don't really fill in the middle part just because she has fuller eyebrows and I don't want her eyebrows to be too dark. When you are doing eyebrows, keep in mind that your client wants their actual shape to their brow. They don't want their eyebrows to be too big or too skinny, because just with experience and doing makeup for over 7 years now, that I just kind of learned that people like how their natural brows look. Unless your clients or yourself prefer larger eyebrows, go ahead and knock yourself out. This is honestly my favorite part whenever I do makeup, is concealing the brows. When you're doing brows, just make sure you take your time. Use a really good concealer. I am using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. That's one of my favorites to use to conceal my eyebrows and my client's eyebrows. It's just super full coverage. Your brush just glides on the skin. You do want to do your brows when you're concealing. You want to do it in sections and try not to rush. If you want to rush something, rush the foundation. Don't rush the eyebrows. So for color wise, I do recommend about 2 shades, maybe 3 shades lighter if you're doing color to conceal underneath the brows, and you want to do the same exact skin tone for the top part of the brows. The brush that you use to conceal eyebrows is very, very, very important, just because you want to use a flat concealer brush. I really don't care too much for angle brushes. I know a lot of people like using angle brushes, but I feel like when I use a flat small concealer brush like this, it covers more on the skin and it's a lot quicker. I just feel like with angle brushes, it tends to cake up too much concealer around the eyebrows, and then you have like this thickness of concealer around the eyebrows. So that's why I prefer more of a flat brush than actually using an angle brush, because the bristles of the hairs is a lot shorter on an angle brush compared to a concealer brush. The hairs are a lot longer. So next I'm going in with some face powder. This is MAC Studio Fix powder, and I'm just going to be setting everywhere else where I didn't set yet. So now I'm just going in with some bronzer, and I'm just going to bronze her skin up just to give it a little more color, a little bit more structure to her face. You want to place the bronzer on the cheekbones just because you do not want their face to look droopy. Makeup is all of it, it's an illusion, so you have to put it on the cheekbones to give it more of like a structured look. I will do a video on what bronzers I like, especially for my black girls, because it is hard to find a good bronzer, but lately there's a lot of brands that have been coming out with really good bronzers. So now I'm just contouring her nose. I'm using the same exact bronzer. When you're contouring the nose, just make sure that the contour lines are pretty close together so you can have a snatched skinny nose. And I do go in with translucent powder just in the center of her nose and the sides of her nose, just to enhance the bronzer a little bit more so we can have a good skinny nose. So now I'm going in with like an orangey brown shade, which I'm pretty sure you guys have. And I'm using my favorite Makeup Shack brush. It's the T12 blending brush. And I'm going to be putting this in her crease and just doing circular motions. The only trick and tip that I recommend when you're doing eyeshadow is just making sure you put more speed into blending. Because if you do the blending pretty slow, it's not going to really blend out well. And I am putting translucent powder underneath her contour just to kind of enhance the contour a little bit more, so we can have a nice snatch face. So now I'm just going to go in with like a darker brown, and I'm just placing this on the outer parts of her eye and just lightly blending it in. You don't want to blend too much with this brown shade, just because if you do, it's just going to make the eyeshadow look really muddy. And then I just go back in with that first shade that I used, that orangey brown shade, just to kind of blend everything out so there's no harsh lines. This is a must. You want to just keep blending with that first eyeshadow brush and the first eyeshadow color that we use, just to make sure everything looks very smooth and clean and well blended. Bye. So now I'm just going to go in with like a nudish, whitish, creamish kind of color just to place this on the lid. I really didn't use anything prior to put on her lid. I just went straight in with that matte shade. Whenever I do matte shades, I do recommend to use more of a fluffy brush. So now I'm going in with this MAC Reflex glitter in the shade Gold. I don't know if they still sell this, but I really like this glitter a lot because it's not chunky glitter, it's very finely milled glitter. And I'm just going to place this onto her eyelid with the same exact fluffy brush. And I didn't put nothing on my brush, I didn't put nothing on the lid, I'm just placing it right on top of that matte shade. This is going to give the eyeshadow more of a pop without using chunky glitters. So now I'm just going to enhance her contour a little bit more, and I'm going to use a darker shade just to give her more of like a, snatch face look. And I am using a fluffy brush, and I'm being very light-handed with it. When you are contouring, I do recommend for you to hold your brush more closer to the end part so you don't apply too much pressure onto your brush. So now I'm going in with some blush, and I do use more of a berry blush. I like using berry blushes for my girls that are deeper in complexion. So now I'm just going to highlight the inner tear duct of her eye with a highlighter. I like this a lot, just gives the eyeshadow and the eye look more of a pop. After I'm done with that, I'm just going to put some black eyeliner underneath her eyes. We were preparing to put this black eyeliner underneath, so yes. I do recommend to use gel liners when you're doing that part. So now I'm going in with the MAC glitter. This glitter is so pretty. It's the pink holograph one. And I do use the duo glue to apply the glitter on. I just feel like it's a lot easier to take off when your clients, taking their makeup off. And this glitter is so freaking pretty. It's really fun, especially for like your birthday or for holidays or for whenever you want to, wear glitter without having chunky glitter on your eyes. So this is a really good technique if you want to just, give your eyeshadow more of a pop. I do go in with some liquid liner, and I created a wing because I felt like the eyeshadow was pretty simple. So I want to give it more of like a dramatic look without applying dramatic eyeshadow. My tip for liner is just really taking your time. Always start in the center and then work your way out and then work your way in. And then I just went in with some brown lip liner just to line her lips. You guys know I love a good brown lip liner, and this one's from KKW. And I do put concealer in the center of her lip and then use the brush to kind of lightly blend it out. And then you want to go back in with the liner just to kind of, smooth everything out so it doesn't look so pale. And I just topped it off with some lip gloss. And this is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this makeup tutorial. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys all for, watching this whole video or whatever. But yes, I will talk to you guys in my next makeup tutorial. Love you.